life.
What's up, Coach?
How's it going, guys? If you run a 4.3, I'm in, man.
Man,
If you have you ever recruited a player or seen a player or someone recommended a player and you go, there's no damn way, but something made you go, no, we're going to give him a shot. I mean, isn't that the whole key, the science of recruiting?
Yeah, it really is. It's there's some guys. I heard Kirby Smart say you can take a 5-star guy and spend 7 plays knowing, that's, what it really looks like, those elite level guys. But I think there is parts of it like, man, I really want to coach that guy. I really want this guy on our team for a lot of different reasons. We actually have a guy like that's part of this class that I can't talk about that, is a guy that I really want to coach and has some stuff that I think just it shows up on film, but it also is going to show up at the college level.
You've seen that movie Trouble with the Curve with Clint Eastwood?
Oh, yeah.
So it's like
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah. He knew that the pitcher was good because of the way the ball sounded when it hit the glove.
Yeah.
Nobody else could see it, but he could.
Yeah.
Is that kind of joy, though, of finding that diamond in the rough and be like, man, he's little, or he's still awkward, but then you see him throw or you see him run and you see him tackle and you're like, oh, he just hadn't been taught what he can do yet.
Yeah, I mean, just as far as like how he can be developed, and I mean, a perfect example of a really good Baylor Bear that had a heck of a career stint in the NFL is JT Woods. Mm-hmm. JT was not a highly recruited guy. I don't know how many stars he had, but not only was he not a highly recruited guy, but we recruited him to play defense, and he was an offensive player. He played wide receiver, and he was a guy that. He was extremely intelligent, had a very high football IQ, and had an extremely high work ethic, and just kept getting better and better and better and better. They win the Big 12, and he gets drafted, I think, in the 4th round by the Chargers. And a guy like that, I mean, yes, did he have the length, but man, who would have thought that a guy that
he was spindly though?
No doubt.
You wouldn't look at him and go like, "Oh, this guy's going to run down."
Yeah,
cover wide receivers. You would have thought like, yeah. It was not that at all.
Yeah.
So, Coach, quiet offseason.
Man.
Not a lot of talk.
Actions whatsoever.
Not a lot of talk about Texas Tech. No, in all seriousness, the spotlight's as bright as I can remember it being on Lubbock and maybe ever.
Yeah.
Just what's it kind of been like from your perspective? I mean, obviously a lot of attention, but with that comes expectations and but also excitement. So how have you kind of just, dealt with everything that's been coming y'all's way over the last few months?
Yeah, it's perspective. I had a good friend of mine, Jack Richards. He's a Red Raider, and his son was a great player at South Lake Carroll and then played, for Texas Tech. And he sent me a text about a month ago, and he said, pressure versus opportunity is all perspective. You realize there is some pressure, but there is such a great opportunity. And, I've said this all day, and I'm going to say it again. I'd rather be in this seat from the standpoint of saying that we really believe that we have a good roster, that we're extremely deep, and now the pressure is on the coaches for us to bring this team together and get it right versus, man, our roster is – man, we're maybe one deep. Oh, my gosh, who's going to play this position? Oh, if we get somebody hurt here, pray to God that can we win 4 games? Can we win 5 games if everything goes right? I'd rather be in this position than that position. And so it's all amount of perspective of what you're looking at, and then I'm also excited because I do feel like that we've done some really good things and we've been extremely aggressive. And when you do that, people are going to talk about it. I imagine a lot of people are going to have us circled. But I also have said this all day. Arizona State's almost bringing back their entire team that won the Big 12 championship. All Kleiman does is win 9 or more games. Baylor's bringing back one of the best offenses in the country, almost the entire offense. We're not the only ones that expectation is pressure's on. We just done it a different way to where it's louder.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is what it is. But, if you're sitting there and you're not thinking that there's a chip on Leopold's shoulder at Kansas after thinking, they won 9 games 2 years ago, and then they had such a bad start. Everybody was talking they were about to take their step. If he doesn't feel pressure, I mean, I think there's a lot of pressure on a lot of people, and whenever you look at it, if there's going to be pressure on you, at least you have the bullets in the gun to go fight the good fight in games that you have good players to go play with.
I know you can't talk names, but you're pissing off a lot of people. You know that. I mean, I didn't know how. Yeah, I've known you a lot. I think I could ask you that.
Right.
Is it because Texas Tech's not supposed to do that, or because others are so used to always getting what they want?
I think it's the second part and a little bit of the first. I've seen it happen in this state. And I was a part of the end of results that began Matt Rule's career. But, there's things that happen at different places that you're like, hey, that's not supposed to happen.
Yep.
And how can we figure out for that not to happen? I think we have pissed a lot of people off. I'll tell you, we've done it the right way. I mean, the one thing that we've done, if we've played within the rules, we've just used the rules out of both worlds. We use the rules in the NIL very aggressively, and then we paired it with the rules that are going on in rev sharing. So we were very aggressive. It's almost a year out that we began that plan. That plan started in July last year in Kirby Holcutt's office with Cody Campbell, leading the charge and saying, hey, this is what's about to happen. These two worlds are going to collide, and we can take advantage of it. So whenever they do collide, let's be in the spot that we're aggressive and take advantage of it. But I think we have a lot of people pissed off because, I don't necessarily, it could be the schools, but I think it's more fan bases of like, hold on, Tech's getting that guy, they're not supposed to get that guy, stuff like that. And it's happened in this conference. I mean, not this conference, in this conference, but it's happened in different universities before that, hey, they weren't supposed to win at that level, and they weren't supposed to beat the so-called blue bloods year after year. And why did this coach ever turn that job down to stay where he was at? I've got a lot of stuff reading between the lines, but I know this group right here can read between the lines of what I'm talking about.
I think one of the best things for, especially schools in the Big 12, this new Big 12, that we're kind of judged in the middle of everybody, is that for all the chaos and the crazy things that you guys have to deal with right now, the best part that coming out of it is that a Texas Tech can finally say, why not us?
Yeah.
And then no one can give them an answer. Like before they say, why not us? And this is because we won't let you.
Yeah.
Well, now you can't do anything about it. Like now, we've decided that we're going to make this investment in our athletic program.
I may give you a hug after this is over because that's where we're at right now. The first phase of June was no excuses. The second phase right now that we're in is why not us?
Well, I mean, there's no reason, and everybody should have that.
Yeah.
Of if you're willing to make the investment, which clearly you are in Lubbock,
right,
then why not us?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's it. I understand how important this year is for this year, but it's also important for the years to come for us to have a really good year and go make a mark, because then it continues. Like you cannot say, well, don't go to Lubbock because they don't have great facilities. Our recruits will laugh at you if you make that statement. You can't say don't go to Lubbock because they're not sharing revenue at the highest level. What do you say? They haven't won the Big 12. Or they haven't been in the championship. We haven't. And so it's really important that we do that to try to eliminate that too, for us to take the next step. I get that. It goes back to the pressure of what this year is all about.
And you guys have an airport too, right?
We do, man.
Yeah, see, there we go. So, the other thing was, if you want to get away for a weekend, well, now these kids have money. They can afford a flight.
No doubt.
No doubt. Every excuse that's ever been about Lubbock, other than, and what none of them say, Craig said this a bunch, is it's a great college town. It's a fantastic college town.
It's a great college town. The food is absolutely incredible. It's a great place to live. And, man, it is. Everything is built around that university. Mm-hmm. Anywhere you go, any restaurant you go into, you're going to see the double T. And if you're not wearing that logo, you're going to get called out for it. Mm-hmm. And they're not going to be shy about it. It's a great place to be. And that's the one thing we're trying to take those eliminate as many excuses as possible.
Joey McGuire, Texas Tech football coach, with us here in Frisco on 365 Sports. They're partying like it's 1995. Barbados.
Yeah.
You guys always have, Debbie. You guys go on these really unique places. Is it a refreshing thing? Do you get away from football, or can you even do that anymore?
What's great is the last 2 trips we've taken Reagan and Joe, my son-in-law, and my daughter, and we've taken Garrett, and he's got a very serious girlfriend that he met in Lincoln, Nebraska, Tara, and she went, and so it was a family deal. Debbie did say, could you get off your phone for 24 hours? I said, no, we can't, because we've got contracts being signed right now in RevShare, and I've got to be able to connect with James Blanchard and Antonio Huffman and Quentin Jordan. But it was fun. I would suggest going if you've never been. It's a great place.
Okay, this is going to sound like a weird question, but Landman with Billy Bob Thornton, they talk about Texas Tech in every episode. I don't know if you've had time to watch it.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Okay, it's fantastic. It's Billy Bob at his best, as you know. How much does that, is that just a little nugget in the, getting the word out about, you've got a show that's not talking about Texas. Well, I mean, one of the characters is going to go play football for you, I guess.
No doubt.
But, that's just a cool thing where before they would have picked a different school, a different thing.
Yeah, it's really we had one of our big donors, Terry Fuller, actually consulted early in the show on that. I always laugh because John Sellers and Cody Campbell are good friends with Taylor Sheridan, and I think he combined the two to make Monty. But the young man, the son of Billy Bob, he's wearing the Texas Tech hat all the time. The engineer's got a Texas Tech tattoo that he goes sleeveless. We do have the quarterback committed, on that show.
The cheerleader coming with him.
Yeah, man, I think it's really good, and I've done it as a joke, and I do mean it as a joke. But when people say, how are you doing what you're doing? I say, oil money's real. Just go watch Landman. Yeah. And it really is. And it's been good.
Can we get you and Billy Bob in a room?
I think that'd be awesome, man.
Yeah.
I think it'd be awesome.
We still cover Central Texas, although not as much as we just do college in general. But a prominent Central Texan, Micah Hudson, back on your roster.
Yeah.
Can you just kind of get into where he is and just, I guess it's kind of been talked about him coming back, but just how important was that for you guys and for him to kind of get back together and try to create something special once again?
Yeah, that was really tough. Because I love my players, and I try to get to know these guys and try to find every why and everything that ticks. And man, I hated it. His mom really struggled with the decision. And whenever the portal opened in April, I called his mom and I said, "Hey, I'm going to reach out to Micah. I just wanted you to know that." And she said, "Coach, he's coming to talk to you face to face. You don't need to reach out to him." And the first thing that I said, and I said this, it was asked earlier, but I said, the first thing that I wanted to do was Micah was tell him where I felt like I failed him and made the mistakes that I made, and things that I could have done different. And he was so receptive. I think he had so much on his heart too to say to me, and it was a great conversation. Right now, Mike and I talk about, hey, just put your head down and just go to work, and everything's going to happen the way it's supposed to happen. I did say that he has a chance to write a really, really cool story and not only affect his life, but affect people that can come after him. Because I think the first thing he would tell you was he listened to people that were telling him what he wanted to hear versus what he needed to hear. And, as we all do as humans, make some decisions that we wish we wouldn't have. And it's been really good to have him back. I'm excited that he's back on our football team.
I think, there's so few of them, but to be a recruit at that high level, it can seem really easy. But you do have people in your ear, like you said. And then, being recruited is the most fun part of college football, right?
No doubt.
Because you get steak and lobster and you get in everybody's happy to see you. But day one, you got the shoulder pads on, like
You got to go
recruiting's
to
over.
work. Yeah.
And so a lot of kids aren't mature enough to handle that right away.
Yeah.
And so I think it's great that coaches, like, you have this, you have to build that relationship where you have to watch them fall on their face a little bit or make different decisions.
And I'm glad that we have the opportunity to, both of us, correct some of the things that we missed on, and then have a really, again, a chance to write the story together.
Mm-hmm.
I would have rooted for him either way, man. I wanted the kid to be so successful, and man, I am. I'm really happy that he's back at Texas Tech and is in a good space with mentally he's in a really good space.
I know you got to go. You got a flight to catch that's been moved up, by the way.
Oh.
Garrett, with you on the same staff, he lives 5 minutes from you. Is that what I was told? And if you don't mind, just to have him right there with you.
Yeah, it's incredible, man. I got to coach him in high school. Then he turns around and he was going to Texas, and he decides to go to a much better school in Baylor. And, and I had him for 8 years, and then he goes off with Coach Rule to Carolina, and then he goes to Nebraska. And, man, that was really hard because it's like he's your son, but he's also like your best friend whenever it comes to the football world and the way his mind thinks and the things that he can tell you that you don't see, and he really knows you. So that has been huge to get him back. He and Mac Leftwich have become so close, and that's been cool. And I think that happens because they're coaches' kids. They're both very like-minded. I'm excited that Garrett gets learned from Mac and learns that offense, and it's been fun. And I'm going to tell you right now, Debbie McGuire is really, really happy that her baby is back in the same town.
Yeah.
That was big. She even said, "You promised me you're going to bring one of them home. You said you're going to bring both." And sometime Reagan, whenever she's at the level that she has her own label, she'll be back in the state of Texas. But it's really neat to have him on the staff, and it's going to be a huge help for us because he does know me better than anybody else whenever it comes to coaching, and can say some things to me that I know where it's coming from that I'll probably accept a little bit different than from other people.
Tell him we said hi.
I will.
Thank you. Great
bet.
to see you,
Thank
Joey.
you, guys.
Good luck. Thank you.
All righty.
Joey McGuire, football coach, head coach at Texas Tech in Frisco on 365 Sports.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world?